Good morning, everyone. This morning, I would like to take some time to talk about this Russian Ukrainian conflict and the Joe Biden administration, Joe Biden himself. I mean, as I continue to follow what's going on in Ukraine, first and foremost, I do not condone the killing and the pain and suffering that the Ukrainian people are going through by the hands of the Russian military. Okay, not allowing people to essentially free their war-torn country. I'm totally against. I'm against any sort of inhumane treatment of innocent people who are not directly inside of the war. Now, with that being said, there has been an outcry, there has been waves and massive support for the Ukrainian people, especially here in America, and I believe in some of the bordering countries of Ukraine. Some things I really want to talk about this morning is that time and time again, Black Americans, we continue to forget about our own pain and suffering, and we outcry for others who have never outcried for us. See, a lot of times you have to deal with what's going on at home before you can start to help other people. It's kind of like you're on a plane and they say if the plane starts to lose cabin pressure, make sure that you apply your face mask prior to helping anyone else, because essentially, if you don't save yourself first, you will ultimately die, and that person will ultimately die. The state of Black America is still in shambles. If you look at our neighborhoods, if you look at our communities, if you look at the totality of all of our environments that we live in currently today, we either be in America or the diaspora in general, we have to understand that we have to worry about ourselves. Now, there's been, of course, a lot of information that has been going out that the Ukrainians were being very prejudiced and very racist against those African immigrant students that were there to study various degrees and subjects. But for some reason, that has been somewhat somehow misled, given misinformation by people like Joy Reid and other mass new to year people. And it really makes me upset that we continue to be duped, we continue to be tricked, we can continue to be coerced by Western media and not just looking at the facts that are plain and simple right in front of our face. Trying to get my thoughts here together because I want to make sure I speak out of context and not out of emotion. Because as I'm looking at the state of Russia, as I'm looking at the state of Ukraine, as a Black American male, as Black American people, the question to yourself, should you really care? I want you to look at your current condition. Then I want you to look at your family's current condition and the environment. I want you to look at the current condition and the support and health of your kids and the schools that they go to and the communities that they have been growing up in. Those are the things that I want you guys to look at. And then I want you to look at Black people as a whole, right here in America, right here in the diaspora. What are the conditions that we in? So we are to ignore the racism that our African brothers and sisters have endured in Ukraine and on the border of Ukraine with those European countries. We should just forget all about that, because we see some Nigerians trying to go and fight with Ukraine against Russia, but they want to get paid and they were banned from doing that. I don't really get it. See, I know desperate people do desperate things. So I just don't pay attention to things like that. That's why I haven't really said anything about that. But this right here is America. And for hundreds of years, Black people have been tormented by the government. It's been sanctioned by the government to torment, to kill, to pillage what we have from the Black community. But we continue, because of Western media tells us through constant propaganda to support Ukraine. Again, I don't condone the innocent hurt, pain, and suffering and killing of innocent people. This is not about that. already the American government has put hundreds of sanctions on Russia. We're talking about corporate structures, sanctions of entities, including subsidiaries, commercial holdings, parent companies. We're talking about commercial real estate holdings, sanctioned Russian oligarchs and political actors. They have closed businesses and associates and family members, subsidiaries, commotion. I mean, all of these things have happened already. We put thousands of sanctions on Russia for them to be paralyzed and crippled from the economic standpoint, which does not drive the economics into their military support. Now, I saw a story. I believe this was in New York, where there was a Russian restaurant, and some citizens, American citizens, went to vandalize and destroy that Russian restaurant by throwing rocks and bricks inside the windows. Why? That Russian citizen, or that American Russian citizen, had nothing to do with what Putin is doing over there in Russia. You see how Americans are overly emotional? You guys remember 911? Remember when the planes flew into the American buildings in New York? You guys remember that? The Twin Towers? You remember how a lot of citizens around the U.S. were just assaulting violence on people who look Muslim or look Middle Eastern? Y'all remember that history in America, right? You guys remember the hundreds of years of Black melanated people in America being enslaved, Jim Crow, and current day race soldiers, quote unquote, lynching, and that being bypassed by the American judicial systems? Y'all guys seen that today, right? Time and time again, we support other people more than we support ourselves. Why is that? Now, as I'm searching through the internet, I'm just looking at random stories how Ukrainians are being supported by almost every financial institution in America. I can go down the line here, folks. Airbnb bookings in Ukraine have raised nearly $2 million in aid because people are now using Airbnb and sending $100, $200 in American aid to certain Ukrainians who have Airbnb listings to essentially help their economy and help their people. When have Americans done that for Black people? See, I gave you guys some excerpts and passages from Carol Anderson's book the other day, White Rage. And I continue to show you how Western media and law enforcement agencies around America suppress and oppress melanated people here. See, more times than not, we have to understand what's plainly in front of our face. How they tell us one thing, but we see another. Did you know that America has sent another $850 million in support of Ukraine? But they tell Black people, yeah, we understand what happened to your ancestors and forefathers in slavery. We understand that the American government have legislated bills and laws against Black atrocities in the Jim Crow era. Yeah, we understand that we have suppressed your vote. We understand that we have suppressed economically your neighborhoods and environments, but we're going to continue to send humanitarian aid to every other country other than Black people in America. Quite frankly, America has nothing to do with the conflict of Ukraine and Russia, or do they? Is there some sort of special interest? Let me tell you something. America does not involve themselves, ladies and gentlemen, in any conflict because of humanitarian reasons. There's always a special interest at heart. So what the fuck? Joe Biden, this is America. The torment and the benign neglect of melanated people. See, they will want us to get behind them and support any movement, especially in the Democratic Party. And first and foremost, before anyone asks, I do not support the Republicans and I don't support the Democrats because neither one has done nothing for Black people specifically. Now, I can point out some things that certain political parties have done or have not done. And this is where things start to get very, very divisive when we start talking about the bottom line. Oh, yeah. When we start talking about the bottom line, that's when we get to the nitty-gritty of things. That is when we get to the heart of things. That is when we kill the nanny on things. Because as Joe Biden took money away from HBCUs, Donald Trump gave money to HBCUs. And when Joe Biden presumed to give money to HBCUs by the way of the America Build Back Better plan, what we come to find out is that those also included trick language. Because when I looked at it, he's given $11 billion to Hispanic institutions, $5 billion to Asian institutions, and $2.5 billion to Black institutions. But 87% of Black people voted for Joe Biden. Can I show you how they trick us, family? Because I think when I show you guys government websites, they don't even hide it anymore because they know that Black male people in America, foundational Black Americans, U.S. freedmen, you guys are not going to go and read it. They know this. So they put it plain and simple right inside www.whitehouse.gov. And it says here, financial support for HBCUs, historical Black colleges and universities, HBCUs, family, HBCUs. HBCUs. That's what it says. Then it reads here, Build Back Better provides $10 billion to HBCUs. Then it says tribal colleges, meaning Native Americans and universities, and then minority serving institutions. See, this is a continual play of the Democratic Party, how they toy and manipulate Black people to believing that they're going to support us in our youth, in their education. But no, see, in the headline, you say financial support for HBCUs, and then when you start to read the vivid details, it tells you for Native Americans and then Asians and Hispanics and white women, because that are your minorities. They already have mentioned financial support for HBCUs, but here we go again with the same song and dance of the Democratic Party, and you boot-licking Negroes went out there and voted for them again after they told you they wasn't going to do nothing for you. And now, oh boy, now we have some of our sock puppet HBCUs now sending support to Ukrainian students, where we got Pookie and Ray Ray in the hood, and they tried out to get some free grant money and Pell Grant money and go to school, and now they're on the corner selling drugs. How many people you think in the Black community try to go to HBCUs but was denied financial aid, was denied grants, was denied loans, and now they're out there doing the other things they shouldn't be doing? And I'm not condoning that. But we just saw the plain and simple, blatant discrimination and racism in Ukraine, and then we're going to have an historical Black college university like, hey, you guys can come over here and finish your study, and you can finish your education right here at HBCU. Come on, Hampton. God damn. We got Black brothers and sisters trying to get into college right now with no money. But you know why they're doing this, right, family? You know why they're doing this. This is a ploy for the Biden administration to allocate more funds for the HBCUs. But they're not going to do it. Time and time again, what we need to understand is that during any political shenanigans of the Democratic Party, they will allow us a seat in the ride, but we will never reach the promised land. Meaning they will never give us support, but they will always pretend like they will. But here's the thing. Are we dumb? Are we dumb as a, think about it, family. Time and time again, the questions that people, especially influencers on social media, who goes at the throat of politics, whether it be Republican or Democrats, we ask the hard questions. What are you going to do for the Black community specifically? Because we know what you've done for everyone else. We know that the Asians got an anti-hate bill for them. In 1 year, that rise percentages in the Asian community that people were assaulting them because of COVID-19. We understand that. We understand that you gave Native Americans $31 billion on top of the $2 billion that you give them annually for the 500 federally recognized tribes. We already understand that. But instead of giving HBCUs more money, you've taken it away. And now HBCUs of a racist Ukrainian environment, because I can't say all Ukrainians are racist. I don't believe that. I don't believe all Ukrainians are racist, but it's a good sum of them to show us the plain and blatant racism. Even in a crisis, they're preventing them to enter in Poland. And even in Poland, there's racism. They won't even allow them in Poland. But there we go again. Boot-leaking Negroes. Cooning it up for massa so we can get some trinkets and crumbs from massa's table. When are we going to learn, family? When are we going to learn? Time and time again, have we not already learned? So Russia is now reaching out to China asking for economic and military support. And of course, America doesn't like that because we're kind of like the mediators. Hey, guys, you stay on your side. You stay on your side. All right. But this is a fight once and time again that America should not be involved in, because do we have any special interests? Right. We understand that Ukraine and Russia gives one of their largest exports to Africa is wheat. And we understand a lot of things that wheat goes into, a lot of the food products. So we kind of understand some of the added interests of a lot of African countries. And that's why America has called out to South African president to call Putin to say, hey, can we just pause this and stop this for a while and work out some differences? Because everybody here has some sort of special interest. And up until 2 weeks ago, America, as far as I know, is the #1 producers and users of oil. So that's why a lot of our gas prices skyrocketed. Then come to find out, I didn't know that we essentially receive anywhere from 3 to 4% of Russian oil. And that's why when they cut Russia off and applied those sanctions to the country, that's why our gas prices rose astronomically. And now people in California are paying like $7 to $8 a gallon, just to kind of, highlight one of the highest, amounts that you can pay in gasoline. And see, what people don't understand is Russia is number 8 on the largest oil reserves in the world. Okay. And Venezuela being 1 and Saudi Arabia being 2. And now we're calling out to the same people we try to dethrone and replace them with another president in Venezuela. Now we're knocking on the door. Hey, man, y'all got any gas over there? Because anytime America involves themselves in foreign wars and foreign policies and anything foreign, it affects us here in America. Because the question is, if China involves themselves in this war, just the way America has involved themselves in this war, because let me tell you something, anytime you supply people with money, equipment, etc., you are indirectly involved in the war. No, there's been no proof or no evidence, so to speak, that America has supplied Ukrainians with weapons and tanks and jets and etc. But I did find out that Poland tried to give Ukraine, I think it was like maybe 15 or 20 fighter jets by the way of proxy through America, as America being the straw man. So because they feel as though, well, America, you the big black strong guys on the block, so we're going to give you guys the planes so it doesn't come directly from us. It comes from America. But I'm like, okay, does this make any sense, family? Poland, these are your jets. It's in your language. It has your identification numbers, has your serial numbers, have your missile payloads. They have all these things that's going on. How in the hell you believe that if America does give Ukrainian those fighter jets, that Russians won't know it's from Poland? So now we're calling China like, hey, we know Russia reached out to you guys and they're asking you for economic and military support. And if I'm China, I'm like, well, you gave Ukrainians economic and military support, because if you give them millions and hundreds of millions of dollars, you are indirectly supporting them. Yeah, we may not have troops on the ground in Ukraine. We may not have tanks on the ground in Ukraine. We may not have special forces and Navy SEALs on the ground in Ukraine. But if you give somebody money, you are indirectly supporting them. We understand that China and Russia are friends. We understand that India and Russia are friends. We understand that North Korea and Russia are friends. So Russia have allies. Why will they not reach out to their allies as Ukraine has reached out to their allies? See, I support the effort of the Ukrainian people seeking refuge in the neighboring European countries. I support that. Those innocent people who've lost their homes, lost their loved ones, their family members, yes, I do not condone that at all. And those neighboring European countries should help them out as much as they can. But when it comes to America, across the 7 seas, and you see the condition of Black people by the way of the American government, I do not condone support. I do not condone support. And I don't condone Ukrainian immigrants in America because of this conflict. I do not. I do not, because the only thing that you need to do is go to any major city in America and you will find hundreds, if not thousands, of Black homeless people that need help and support. Where's their help and support? A lot of these people have been wrongly incarcerated because of a racist government that has never paid a tone in reparations to the people to get out of the economic stronghold that our people are currently in. This is the problem, and this is America. We have our own unique problems that we need to identify and handle prior to helping everybody else, unless, I must be mistaken, there's some sort of added interest. And so what is America going to do? What is America going to do if China involves themselves? Put sanctions on China? Because outwardly speaking, China makes over 90% of the products in America. Now, statistically speaking, according to the numbers, that number is actually around 30. But why is it every time I pick up something, that should say China? That should say Taiwan. Rarely do it say Indonesia or India or Pakistan. Rarely does it say that. 90% of the stuff I pick up has been made in China. So that's why I'm going with 90%. Now, according to the numbers, it's around 30%. That's the issues I have, family. I want to look at the support that America has given to Ukraine. And I always want you to have this in the back of your brain housing group. The support that America has given to Ukraine that they haven't given to Black people. Stay with me here. President Joe Biden today announced, and this is March 16th, a couple of days ago, an additional $800 million in security assistance to Ukraine, bringing the total U.S. security assistance committed to Ukraine to $1 billion in just the past week, and a total of $2 billion since the start of the Biden administration. The assistance will take the form of direct transfer for equipment from the Department of Defense to Ukrainian military. Listen to that. Listen to that. The assistance will take the form of direct transfers of equipment from the Department of Defense to the Ukrainian military to help them defend their country against Russia unprovoked and unjustified invasion. How do we know that? Family. Okay, hold on. Hold on one. How do we know that? Black Americans, people who really don't have any vested interest in this. We don't know that. We don't know, was this unprovoked? We only know what media shows us. Putin has said, well, I'm trying to eradicate neo-Nazism in Ukraine because they have infiltrated the government and they have infiltrated the military. Then Ukrainian like, oh, this was unprovoked. We don't know why Russia's invading. So who are we to say why they're fighting in the first place? See, America, we're always trying to be the bodyguard. We're always trying to be the mediator. We're always trying to be the man in the middle. And then when things don't work out, we pick a side. And then that's the side that they propagandize our people through Western media to let us know who the fuck we should actually be supporting. Why is that? And then we keep being fooled and yeah, I support Ukraine. Yeah. And then we got a few people who say they support Russia because maybe they think otherwise. I'm just saying, you know what? This is the one time where America should be like, that's what they should be doing. Y'all not part of NATO. Y'all not part of a group of our friends. Then, hey, listen, hold your own nuts. Hold your own nuts. Because Ukraine is right there on the border. Okay. Ukraine is right there on the border of Poland. What you got? Czech over there, and I think you got Romania. They can go into all those countries. Now we're trying to send people over here. Now we're allowing free tuition, room and board for Ukrainian students at HBCUs, and we have all of these black people who can't afford college. The only way a black person is getting into Hampton University for free is by the way of scholarship. We either be academic scholarship or sports scholarship or musical scholarship of some sort. Your ass in this walking in Hampton University, not paying nothing. Like, hey, I'm black. I'm here. I understand that Joe Biden gave you $2.5 billion, but I understand that. Oh my gosh. Let me continue. So that $800 million, family, got them 800 Stinger anti-craft system, 2,000 javelins, 100 tactical unmanned aerial system. That's your, UAVs, 100 grenade launchers, 5,000 rifles, 1,000 pistols, 400 machine guns, over 20 million rounds of armed ammunition, 25,000 sets of body armor, and 25,000 helmets, over 600 Stinger anti-craft system. And here's another thing of the propaganda of the Western media, right? They're telling you as Russia is invading, they still can't take over Kiev and all these other key cities in Ukraine. And Ukraine, even though it's a smaller country with a smaller military, that is fighting back the powers that be. Well, yeah, you're getting American support. You're getting this influx of money that has bought all this additional equipment that you can now protect yourself a lot better if it's just a one-on-one fight. Then some people was like, oh, Russia is the bully. And see, that all is imagery and perception. That's propaganda, right? To me, it's two countries fighting. Do one country have a military advantage in the other country? But of course, there's really been no two countries that are equally matched, right? Because there's always been friends and allies that support one or two countries. If you look at the history of World War I, World War II, the Korean War, the Civil War, it doesn't really matter. Everybody has support from some sort of outline or ally or friend that was in conjunction with that support or was in support of that war. That's the way we have to look at these things. But we're to be fooled. We're walking around and with our cars and social media, we're buying Airbnbs that we're not going to stay in Ukraine to support Ukrainians. And then I'm looking at the state of America in our inner cities and our urban cities and our ghettos and our hoods and our trailer parks. And we're not even supporting the people who we look at in the face each and every day. We're not supporting them. Oh, he's strung out on drugs. He's an alcoholic. He's this. The question is why? Why are a lot of our black brothers and sisters on the street homeless? Why are a lot of our black people uneducated? Why is the question? Why? The same reason why why a lot of Ukrainian families cannot return home because their apartment buildings and houses have been destroyed by the Russian military. You know that why, but you won't look at the fucking why your people are not doing well today. You will have people to tell you they're not doing the right thing by their finances. They're not doing the right thing by pulling themselves by their bootstrap to actually build something for themselves. No. Oh, well, the 1994 crime bill that Joe Biden put into office when he was a senator of Delaware, had nothing to do with the people of today. Yes, those are the same guys on the street in their 50s and 60s that were victims of that crime bill back in 1994. And a lot of them, unfortunately, was in jail wrongfully convicted. And now all of these things have come out because new age technology with DNA and other sorts of technology is helping them to be released. And now they're fighting for hundreds of thousands and millions of dollars to support their lives in their later part of their lives. But we would rather care about for people who never cared about us. We have been in war with white supremacy since we landed foot on this ground, coming off those ships, and also the indigenous black people who are already here when those Spanish conquistadors and Portuguese and British people landed here in America. We have always been at war, and we have never had any help from the UN. We have never had any help from NATO, and we sure damn didn't have any help from Russia or Ukraine. And that's why I say we should be just like this. That's why. That's why. They want us to worry about everybody else except our own selves. When you look at this family and the amount of money that Americans are forking out, the amount of money that your tax dollars is forking out in support of Ukraine, now I want you to look at your ghettos. Now I want you to look at your housing areas. Now I want you to look at the education for your kids. Now I want you to look at all these things that America could have done to repair Black America, but they have never done so. They can't even pass HR 40, which is a simple study of reparation. And I know HR 40 is a nothing burger, but they won't even invest in a nothing burger, but they just recently passed some goddamn hair discriminating bill that we can no longer be discriminated against our hair. Locks, braids, weaves, patches, I don't know, dreads, but they passed that. This is the pandering. They know laws like that don't mean shit to Black Americans, right? Don't get me wrong, it means something to people who have been discriminated against their hair, but they understand that legislation does not help Black people as a whole economically. If Shaquita is on the job and she has been straightening her hair for the past 3 years and she said, I'm gonna go natural and now I'm gonna get it locked, she can no longer be discriminated upon. How does that help Black Americans as a whole? It does not. But giving $31 billion to Native Americans help Native Americans as a whole, right? Because we understand that Native American tribes are essentially sovereign. They're their own, these reservations are their own country. So when you allocate billions of dollars in the country and they disseminate down to their constituents and the tribesmen, that boosts the Native American economy. There's some people who are outliers in the Black community who like to speak out against reparations. I could go into a whole different spiel about that, but my one message to them is, if you don't really care about reparations, then shut the fuck up. You know, it's a lot of things that I see that I'm personally involved in that I don't necessarily agree with, but it may benefit some other people. Guess what I do? I don't say a damn thing. But see, here's the thing about America that I respect and I disrespect: the freedom of speech, because then I'm contradicting myself because I have the freedom of speech. So they have the freedom of speech. But the one thing I don't do, I like to give perspective and oration on certain topics from a different angle that people may not see from. But then again, I'm not going to tell somebody stop doing X, Y, and Z, especially if it's not hurting me. Here's the thing. A lot of Americans in general think that if they give us reparations, that it's going to be your tax dollars and that inflation will rise. Shit, inflation already at 7.8%. And guess what? Them reparations money, America operates off a system of fiat, ladies and gentlemen. It's not going to hurt America. We just print our own money and we put stamps on that shit. Back in 71, Nixon took the value of the American dollar off the standard of gold. Now we're on the standard of fiat, meaning I owe you all day. And that's why we can afford lavish houses. That's why we can afford lavish cars, because essentially we don't have nothing to back by. I owe you. You'll get that shit when I give it to you. That's what we operate off, right? Because at the end of the day, think about this. If you don't pay your car note, say for instance, you go out and you buy yourself a Ford S-Class AMG Mercedes. That shit like $100,000. You pay like the 2 first months, you put in the garage. They say, hey, we about to repo your car. No, you're not, because they can't come in your property and take your car. It has to be on the street. Your ass can move, and then you riding around. Yeah, your credit may be jacked up for a couple of moments or so, but then after 5 or 7 years, when you found bankruptcy, you got a $100,000 car essentially for free. That's the country we live in, where you can essentially steal a car legally. And the only reason why you can't do that with a house, unless you're going to uproot the house and move it, they put a lock on your door and you can't even go back inside your own home, which is not yours in the first place because you loaned the money. And now we're giving the same money that we're talking about to people who never gave a fuck about Black Americans in the first place, let alone African immigrants who were trying to leave the country. You see what I'm saying? You see how this worked full circle? Black people, we're always the butt of everyone's jokes. We're just in a constant circle jerk of everybody pulling us to and from. And they play at our heartstrings because as Black people, we're some of the most loving and giving people in the world. And we are the poorest. We are the most contradicting, emotionally unstable financial people in the whole entire world. We got on one hand Black people talking about we can't get out these countries because they being racist because I'm Black, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Then on the other hand, we got Nigeria trying to sign up to fight with Ukrainians, but for money. I definitely want to point that out, but for money. But nonetheless, I wouldn't want to get myself involved in that shit. No. This is the problem that we have today, family. We don't look at ourselves in our face and say, first and foremost, what can I do for me to help me to be a better person? What can I do for my husband, my wife, my kids, my uncle, my aunt, my family members? How can I help them out before I send money over to fucking Ukraine? We're in a worse state than any other people in the world. Think about that. We're in the worst conditions around the world than any other people in the world, but we continue to support people. We continue to support political parties that don't support us. And the only thing that we got to show for it, we say dumb shit like, long as it ain't Trump. Where do we get this from? Here's the thing. And somebody would just say, hey, Ross, when Donald Trump was in office, race relations got a lot worse. I believe it has. But it's not like Donald Trump made people racist. I think he allowed a certain atmosphere to people show their racist, blatant behavior. See, the one thing I love, ladies and gentlemen, the one thing that I love overt racism. Right in your face. Right in your face racism. I hate covert racism where they smile in your face. Wait till this nigga turn his back. And that is the Democrats. See, I respect the Republicans a very minuscule amount because they're right in your face racist. No, we're not doing nothing for Black Americans. Never will we ever. But Democrats like, yeah, we're going to revisit the topic. This is the election year. We kind of want you guys to kind of look at the situations here. We're thinking about supporting the Black community because you guys supported me and I got your back. If you don't vote for me, you ain't Black. When are we going to just wake up as a people and say, hold up, I've been voting a Democrat for the past 20 years and I haven't seen any change in the Black community. None so what? So now what I'm going to do is hold my vote. I'm just going to hold on to it. I'm not going to say I'm not going to vote, and I'm not going to say I'm going to vote. I'm going to hold my vote And then whatever political party, Democrat, Republican, Independent, Black, Blue, Green Party, I don't care what party, say, we are going to give you guys reparations in the form of cash payments first. That's the first form of reparation. That's the first thing we're going to do. And if they don't pass legislation, I have the executive order already written up. And as soon as I become president or remain president, I don't care, I'm going to sign it. Clear and cut tangibles. No more of these empty promises. No more of this benign neglect. No more wait 2 more years until the election year. No more let's wait for the primaries. No more let's wait and vote blue no matter who. No more in 22 we're going to do this. No more. No more. Because time and time again, we have learned from our mothers and fathers, our grandfathers and grandmothers who consistently voted Democrat because it was just Democrat to be Democrat to be Democrat to be Democrat. Because of Martin Luther King, what he did with LBJ and some of the legislation he got passed, Black people as a whole all became Democrat. But guess what's turning the tide? Guess what's turning the tide? A lot of these Black folk are waking up, right? Because now they're demonizing woke culture. See, here's the thing. Why would you demonize woke culture of people becoming conscious of the situations that they're in? How demonic is that? And you're looking at CNN, and you're looking at MSNBC, and you're looking at ABC, NBC, and you're looking at Fox News, and you're looking at all these local news channels, and they're going against woke culture because your ass woke up. You're like, damn, hold up. Man, was I a zombie? Was I asleep for 30 years? Now I understand that this government has done nothing for Black people except criminalize our race. They have criminalized our race, and they're making it easier and easier for the American people to condone race shootings, race hate, racial profiling, anything that's dealing with our melanation and criminalizing simply because the color of your skin. Now they're demonizing the same culture that we put so much respect on of our people becoming conscious of the situation that they currently live in, that they're currently deal with each and every day. You don't know why you got fired. You don't know why you got let go. You're like, wait a minute, I met all my deadlines. I did all my work. Oh, but all of a sudden, we'll have to let you go. We have to let you go. When are we going to wake up? See, my thing is all these people out here and all these different Black sects, they want you to join in all these different political parties and all these religious affiliations. No, you should be doing for your best interest. And guess what? At the end of the day, more money in your pocket is in your best interest. I keep hearing generational wealth. I want to start a business and I want generational wealth and want my school to go to college and I want to do better for myself and I want to go on vacation and I want to build this business. I wanted to invent this product. Guess what you need to do all of that? You need fucking money. Financial literacy 101. Learn money and be inspired. You need money. And without money, majority of us can't do anything. Majority of Black Americans make no more than $50,000 a year. And so they started this whole new wave of sexually dividing Black men and women from each other. They're putting the Black women ahead of the Black men. And now we have a house that's uneven with a weak foundation. I'm not saying men should be ahead of the women, and I'm not saying women should be ahead of the men. But the point is, they're propping one up more so than the other. And now Black women are looked down on Black men, and then they're stating that all the all the bad things that Black men have done to them. Guess what? If you go out and divest, I wish you a good luck. I wish you good luck. Because if you see of the interracial relationships of the percentages of Black women who are getting harmed and killed by non-Black people, holler at your fucking boy. People will say, well, there's more Black men hurting Black women. No, I want you to look at the percentages of interracial relationships compared to black relationships and look at the percentages and you tell me who is harming black women. Oh, well, black women are the more educated people in America. No, they're the people with the most debt in America. See, when you start to separate people from their people, now this is the thing. We have been separated from our men and we have been separated from our women. Thus, we have no power. We have no unity. See, this is how you destroy your people. You separate them from their men and women. And you tell one side you're better than the other side. Then you say, well, you guys are the smartest, so we're going to prop up black women. But because here's the thing, we're going to prop up black women and we're going to tell black men that they have toxic masculinity. That's what we're going to do. We're going to demonize black men. Haven't black men been demonized enough? Was mass incarceration enough? Was buck breaking enough? Was Jim Crow enough? Was redlining enough? Wasn't it enough for us to understand that this is a master plan of fucking white supremacy to divide the most powerful people on earth to not be with each other? Divide and conquer. Did anybody read Art of War, or was it just me? Am I the only one who read Art of War? This is the most simple form of military strategy, is divide and conquer. Divide a people, you destroy your people. Attack them on all fronts. Attack them on all fronts. You know what? Not only are we going to divide the men and women from each other, but we're going to push an LGBTQ narrative, not only on the men and women, but on their children. So they lose their identification of who they are. And then what we're going to start to do, we're going to start blasting this on mass media. So they start a lot of infighting. They're going to go on places like YouTube and Facebook and Snapchat and Twitter and Clubhouse. And they're going to start all these divisive conversations. And they're going to continue to fight for hundreds of years. And they'll never get their black white, because as we put all of these things in place, all these different very controversial and divisive topics in place for them to infight amongst themselves, they still not going to get their goddamn reparations. They still not going to have black empowerment. And we can't see through it. And we can't see through it. See, I understand that some people like to support the Democratic Party and Joe Biden. I get it. I get it. You're probably read up, all the legislation, all the bills the political party had done for the black peoples. You didn't read up all what you had to read about. And then some of you over there Republican Party, and you Republican, free the nation, all that good stuff. I'm not against none of you. But my question is this: what's going to happen in 2024? Because now that the woke culture has awakened and black people are now starting more businesses than they ever started before, as a black business owner, what political party benefits you the most? Is it the Democrats, who usually raise taxes on businesses? Or is it Republicans, who usually lower taxes and gives incentives on small and big businesses? I'm just asking. I'm just giving you the facts as I know it. I'm just asking, who are you going to vote for now? Or are you going to keep voting Democrat? Or are you going to keep voting Democrat? I'm just asking the question. Because if you're going to keep voting Democrat with no tangibles, or you're going to keep voting Republican with no tangibles, just go ahead and give your goddamn money to Ukraine. Yeah, this past that black guy that's always out there under the bridge, on a corner, homeless, never had a chance in life, was in jail, wrongfully convicted of a crime he didn't commit for 20 years. The government gave him no money to put him back himself on his feet. Now he's out there defending for himself. Probably got into some drugs, probably got into some alcohol to numb the pain of being fucking homeless. Yeah, this walk past him. Yeah, walk past him. Don't give him nothing. Just send your money over to Ukraine. Use PayPal. They got a system where you're going to send money over to Ukraine. Buy an Airbnb that you will never go to. Okay. Just do that. Don't support black businesses. Don't help and mentor the black youth in your community. Don't do that. No, don't do that. Black men and women, black ladies, these black men have been doing you guys wrong for so many years. Go ahead and divest. Date white guys, date Hispanic guys, date Asian guys, date anything except black. Don't support black people at all. Black men, you already been dating white women. Date them, date Asian women. Don't even deal with these black women out here because they're more educated, they're more successful. Every time I meet somebody, they make over $100,000. So the statistics of the state of Black America must be absolutely wrong. Must be absolutely wrong. I guess I'm the only one who think reparations would be a great deal for the black community as a whole. Maybe I'm the only one. Maybe there's a couple of people out there. Maybe Jason Black and the Black Authority. Maybe Professor Black Truth. Maybe Dr. Claude Anderson. Maybe Dr. Boyce Watkins. Maybe Tariq Nasheed. Just maybe Ricky Manor. Maybe we just don't know what the hell we're talking about. Maybe TD Hip Hop Media, maybe Phil Scott in the African Diaspora Channel. Maybe none of us really understand that direct cash payments to the black community of the atrocities and the slave fields of the American South and the destruction of black people as a whole here in America and all the work of our ancestors and forefathers building this country and building the 16 to 20 trillion wealth in this country. Maybe we shouldn't be owed the money that our ancestors never received. Maybe I'm just wrong. Maybe we can just lick a couple of boots and pull ourselves up from our bootstraps. Maybe we can dance for butter biscuits. Maybe we go to a fish fry and get catfish nuggets. Maybe we do a chicken fry off. I don't know. Maybe that'll help the black community. Maybe Hampton University giving over 50 Ukrainian students free room and board and tuition to finish their college education. Maybe that's the best thing for the black community and not letting 50 black children who had never had a chance to go to fucking college to go with free room and board. Maybe that's better for the black community. Right? Because if I have enough food for 4 people, I have me, my wife, my son, and my son. I have enough food for us just 4. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take the food off their plate and I'm going to give it to another country who has never done nothing for my family. You see the irony in that? Do you now see it? Did you put on your woke glasses this morning? Did you put on your woke glasses? Did you look through the hourglass clearly? Did you see what the hell I'm talking about? That we will go ahead and donate all this money to a country that has never done anything to support the black community in any form or fashion. This is the same country where the citizens during the George Floyd murder was supporting Derek Chauvin. They said free Chauvin. In Ukraine, there had signs at a soccer game saying free Chauvin, but not in support of the murder of George Floyd. Western media is demonizing the woke culture, but unfortunately, they're doing a great job because a lot of us are still asleep. I've been looking at media. I've been looking at news channels, and I just keep seeing support for Ukraine. And I'm like, what is the underlying issue here? What is really going on? Because America really doesn't support any country without any sort of added interest. See, why this whole conflict of Ukraine and Russia is going on, did you guys know that we were bombing Somalia? Did you guys know that? Did you know that America is bombing Somalia? Did y'all know that? Now, you can go, of course, and research why America is bombing Somalia. It could be some terrorist cell or terrorist entity in a part of Somalia. But nonetheless, news can very much so be propagandized to the fact where the only thing you're talking about, The only thing you're listening to, the only thing you're looking at is the conflict between Ukraine and Russia, and you're not even thinking about your own current state. This is America, and you are a melanated person in America. So why the fuck are you worried about everybody else except for your damn self and your family? That's the problem. We have somehow signed a life contract to vote Democrat. We have signed a life contract to worry about everybody else's problem except ours. You ever heard of peeping Tom? You ever heard of nosy people? You know, nosy people in the black community was always demonized. She nosy. She always in other people's business. The same shit America been doing for hundreds of years. We're the people who always looking out the blind. Like, who that? What they doing over there? Hey, Junebug, call the police. They out there with them drugs again. They selling lemonade. What even selling drugs? That's the problem. That is the problem. We never mind our own damn business as a country, and we sure don't mind our own damn business as a people. See, my thing, and I'm going to leave you guys with this. I've been thinking about this too, so I have to really get it out. When I think about the state of hip hop and rap music today, I thought about something. Instead of using the word nigga, instead of using the N word, how about we just use the word white supremacy or bigots? I mean, there's so many racial epithets and racial slurs we can use against white supremacy instead of using the N words, which mostly reverts back to black people. Or that's the way the world sees it, right? Right? When we say the very derogatory things, whether it be this new trill music or drill rap or whatever, how about we just replace some of those words with bigots and races and white supremacy and white tyranny and white suppression and white oppression? Why can't we just replace some of the words and stop using the N words and going against our brothers and sisters? All right, you want to make gangster rap? Make it against white supremacy. You want to make thug music? Okay, make it against white tyranny. If that's what you want to do, make that shit hard. When you're going against and you're making them hard ass lyrics, you dropping them hard ass raps, make it against white supremacy. How about that? How about we going against each other? We are so divisive against one another. We are so divided against one another. I'm telling you, family, I'm telling you, white supremacy has lit in the match and started the fire, and they said, he did it. He did it. And so now white supremacy has taken a step back just a little, but they pointed their finger at you and they pointed their finger at you, and now we are fighting. We're the ones who have to put out the fire, and we didn't even start it. But maybe the blaze is too high. Maybe the fire has risen to a height that we can't see above. There has to be a way around it. There has to be a way under it. But that's what white supremacy does. It's trickery. It's evil. It's coonery. It's Sambo-ish. But what it does is lights a fire, hides its hand, and tells you that person did it, and tell that person did it. And now you guys are fighting, and then they sit back and watching. And anytime you guys start to figure out that, wait a minute, I didn't start the fire, you didn't start the fire, they throw something else in the basket. Well, what about your rights? Aren't you LGBTQ? What about your rights? Aren't you a small business owner? What about your rights? Aren't you American? So you guys may want to go ahead and support Ukraine. I got a task for you. If you have supported Ukraine, I want you to go downtown and I want you to find one of your black brothers and sisters that look just like you, that looks just like a family member inside of your family. And I want you to tell them to their face, instead of coming out here and providing you with a meal, providing you with fresh water, maybe paying for a nice hotel stay where you can wash up and clean up and be dignified for one day in your fucking life. I gave that money to Ukrainian refugees over in Europe because I thought that would best serve my interests, and I was doing humanitarian because now people know my name is on a ledger, my name is on a roster, my name is on a sheet that I supported Ukraine, and that's going to make me feel better. But you were damn not to support one of your own. You would be damn not to support someone that looked like you and I. And again, for the YouTube algorithms, I do not support the pain and suffering and torture and murdering of innocent people of Ukraine. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, as a Black community, as Americans, we should be worried about our damn selves first. They're over there in Europe. They have many of European countries to support them, and that is what they should be doing. See, when these African countries was in a state of colonialism, did America help them out? Oh, hell no. Did America say, Great Britain, the UK, European nations, leave African countries alone, give them their independence, or we're going to start to invade some of your European countries? Did you hear America say that? So some of you coons that's coming over here from the African continent, speaking out against Black Americans, talking all that bullshit, you're still in a racist country. Yeah, they gave you more opportunities. You probably living a better life, but don't you ever forget the melanation you have in your skin. Don't you ever forget your African features you have on your body, because at the end of the day, they'll kill you, they'll kill me, because we both look alike, but we may speak a different language. We ain't no better than nobody else. We're still living under the global system of white supremacy. Don't get it twisted. And for you riders who support Black Americans, Black power. I'm just so tired. I've been just keeping this all inside of me, trying to find the words. So today, Monday morning, March the 21st, 2022, I had to let it go. It's like diarrhea. I just had to let it go. However it comes out, I'm letting it go. I don't have any direction. I'm just gonna let it go. Yeah, most of these African countries just received their independence in the 60s, late 50s, early 60s. Did you hear America say, you know what? We're going to send some engineers over there. We're going to send some people to help out your infrastructure, because we know that the Europeans left your countries in shambles. But see, America, they like to involve themselves in other people's business, just like we bombed Japan. We dropped 2 nuclear bombs on Japan. After it was all said and done, America sent billions of dollars to rebuild the infrastructure of Japan. After the Korean War, America sent billions of dollars to help rebuild Korea. And America knows of the economic colonialism that's occurring between China and Africa. A lot of that has been condoned by the African governments, but nonetheless, we understand that. But guess what? We don't want to intervene. We don't want to intervene. You take one of the largest states in Africa, in Nigeria, over 55% of the people live impoverished, and they live on under $2 a day. When we went to Ghana, over 50% of the Ghanaian residents live in lower income and impoverished in shanty towns and sheet metal homes, but the American government doesn't want to intervene. Oh, but you want to intervene now. Oh, you want to intervene now, don't you? Between Ukraine and Russia. And it's okay that Americans are suffering at the pump, right? Because here's the thing. If America never stepped in, your gas prices still be the same. Because again, we get 3 to 4% of our gasoline from Russia. See, do we understand that any time that this country steps in and helps somebody, there's an added interest, and any time they neglect a whole entire continent, there's still added interest? Who knows? China might be giving America billions of dollars not to step in of these atrocities, but I doubt it. America just don't fucking care. And they use us against each other. They use black immigrants from the Caribbean and in Africa against black Americans, and use black Americans against them as well. And we still don't see it. We're still infighting. Hundreds, if not thousands of situations and talks and videos and platforms are going against one another, and they're sitting back laughing. They're sitting back laughing at us. Yes, I believe we need to have unity between us, the Caribbean and African diaspora, but it has not worked out for black Americans. It said, thank you, black Americans, for building up America, but we're going to come over there and undermine you because the Democratic Party has passed all these immigration laws, and we're going to be coons for them. And anytime you guys start talking about reparations, we're going to talk out against reparations. Then we have black Americans going over to Africa saying, oh, you should come here and start a business. Wait a minute. So Africans are coming to America, building businesses, sending money back home, but black Americans should move to Africa and start a business. Does that make sense to anybody? I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm on one this morning. Maybe I'm on one this morning. Because don't get me wrong. I'm going to visit Africa again. I think me and my wife been discussing we're going to go to South Africa versus Rwanda. We might go to South Africa. We understand that Phil Scott is over there. We might just go visit Johannesburg and Cape Town. But nonetheless, we're still going to visit the birthplace of life itself. We kind of just love to go out and travel and learn, research, talk to the people, because this is the only way you're going to really get the real information. You guys go and watch some of my videos about some of the situations and current state of Ghana. Go look at some of my videos, label anything dealing with Africa or Ghana. You probably get some of the information. But are you guys seeing the perspective I'm giving you? Okay. I'm just kind of trying to think outside of this hamster wheel that America's have us in over and over and over and over again. We're doing so much infighting in the black community. And I mean infighting the black community. I just don't mean America. I just don't mean the UK. I just don't mean the Caribbean. I just don't mean the continent of Africa. I mean where every black person live and lie, we are infighting in some form of fashion against ourselves. Some black people won't even do business with other black people because of the reputation, the imagery, and perception of one or two other black people in business that had destroyed because of Western media propaganda of how black people are as a whole. They have criminalized our race. They have criminalized our race where we don't even trust one another. We don't even trust one another. There should be some sort of bartering system. There should be some sort of trade system. There should be some sort of business network between melanated businesses around the world, because we are the only people that's going to truly help ourselves out. While we continue to put our foot on white supremacy and call it out and fight it at all costs and continue to tell this American government what you owe us and what you have not paid, we have to continue to build within our own communities. We have to continue to build between our own people wherever they may be. And the last thing we need to do is support people who have never supported us, who have actually went against us. That is the issue. That is the problem. You guys continue to let outside entities to separate you from common sense and common knowledge. We will allow religion to separate us. Well, you're not a Christian. Oh, well, you're not a Muslim. Oh, I'm spiritual. I'm not really from any religion. Who fucking cares? Your religion, your spirituality is your own atonement to wherever deity, wherever powerful God that you pray to. But what about this living being body that we need to take care of? What about building better for our kids? Can we set aside the differences? Can we set aside our religion? Can we set aside our democratic affiliation? Can we just set it aside so we can grow together? Can we just set it aside? God damn. Okay, you're a Southern Baptist. Okay, you're a non-denomination. Okay, you're Episcopalian. Okay, you're a Black Catholic. Okay, you're a Hebrew Israelite. Okay, you're a Muslim. You're part of the Nation of Islam. Okay, you're a Black Jew. Okay, you're a Democrat. Okay, you're a conservative. Okay, you're a Republican. Okay, you're a liberal. Okay, who fucking cares? That is what's separating us from this bag, this check, this money, generational wealth, building businesses, building legacies. That is what's stopping us from being together as one. See, you may not think white people are unified. Yes, the fuck they are. Because when you look where white people are around the world, they're doing better than melanated people around the world. And that is called unification. That is what you call on code. That is what they're saying. You know what? I understand that you're a Mormon. I understand that you're a Catholic. I understand that you're a white Muslim, but I like your business. I want to invest in your business. So when you make money, I make money. You see that? At the end of the day, they understand they want to live a good life and leave a good life for their kids. Then some people would tell me, well, Ross, it ain't all about money. It's about the ascension and the spiritual being and wellness of oneself. You have to eat what's on the inside that's great to put on the inside to have a spiritual ascension to a higher plane and level of existence. What the hell are you talking about? I got kids I got to feed. I got a wife I got to take care of. What the hell are you talking about? See, all that. Can we do the business first and then I'll ask questions about that later? Well, listen, I can't really, any negative vibrations of energy that comes into the realm of my orifices, I just can't allow that inside of me. No. We're talking about numbers. There's no energy here. We're just talking about the energy of numbers. Like the business will grow 5 times the amount that we invested, $25,000 at an added interest of 3% if we start right now, versus the inflation is at 7.8% minus the take, but we all could probably get 10% at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying, right? Well, no, I'm going to eat a jackfruit and I'm going to make some burritos and then I need some juice. And then once I swallow that, I will pray to the gods and then I will see where we go from there. What? This is what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about. Everybody got their hair screwed on straight. When you got the Indians coming over here on these H1 visas and shit like that, they're coming over here being doctors. They're coming over being any sort of data scientists and database and cloud and IT support. They're taking all of the tech jobs. Now, Indians are considered Asian, so to speak, right? And we understand that Oriental is a derogatory term in some sense, right? But they don't look what you would call as a traditional Asian, right? Because they have their own country where I think it's the second largest, or the first largest, about 1.1, 1.2 billion people live in India. But they come over here and they in droves. They take, and I won't say they take, they're allowed to get a lot of the tech jobs. But we don't tell our kids in the Black community, hey, Derek, Tyrone, what you want to do when you grow up? I want to be a therapist. Honey, therapists only make like $50,000. I don't care about money. It's about what I want to do, Mom. No. Me and my wife, we made a decision. We said, fuck all that. We already telling our 10-year-old, guess what you're going to do? You're going to be in engineering. You're going to be in some sort of data scientist or IT world. Oh, yeah, that's what you're doing. Talking about, no. That is what I found out to work. When I was over there in Asia, when I was over there in Korea and Japan, they didn't just allow their kids to pick whatever they wanted to do. Even Africans, they don't allow their kids to pick, oh, you want to be a skateboarder. Huh? You want to be a football player. What? No. What is your backup plan? That's why you see a lot of these Africans coming over here with all these engineering degrees, with all of these doctor degrees. They not into social work. When the last time you saw a Nigerian therapist? They over here to make that money, and we're allowing our kids to be in these bullshit degrees. They're like, what degree you in? I'm in education. What are you going to do with an education degree in a technological advanced world? We tell our son, your ass going to be in your ass going to be in robotics. You're going to be in computer programming. You're going to be in IT. You're going to be in cloud serving. You're going to be in Cisco system. You're going to be in cybersecurity. You're going to be in something that's going to bring intangible wealth inside of your bank account. Now, if you're some sort of musical savant because we gave you piano lessons and that takes off, then that takes off. Then go ahead and do that. But you're still going to be a data scientist. You're still going to have certifications with Cisco systems of cybersecurity. Or you're still going to be an electrical engineer, mechanical engineer, because somebody got to fix all these electronics when this shit goes down. You see what I'm saying? So when you look at Asian and African cultures, they don't just allow their kids to get in any degree. Oh, I'm in education. I'm in business management. Yeah, you can have business management as a minor, but what are your technical skills? Do you have a PMP? Or you're a project manager? Are you in Lean Six Sigma? Do you know how to do process improvement? Like, what are these some non-technical skills that you can actually use in the real world? Okay, you're going to be a pharmacist. You're going to be a pharmacist or a pharmacist assistant. Like, what are you going to do? Are you going to be a nurse? Or are you going to be a PA? Or are you going to be a doctor? All these are different echelons within the business world, within those prospective sectors of you actually making some real money. So when we look at these things at the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, I know I've been all over the board, but nonetheless, it's like diarrhea. It came the way it came. It went the way it went. But I'm telling you here today, don't you go and support someone who has never supported you and yours. If you really want to support people, support your damn self and those who look like you, who live around you. Because anytime I go down to Dallas and I see all these black brothers and sisters doing bad in themselves, and I ask them, hey, brother, you want me to buy you a meal? That's the least I can do. Hey, brother, you want a hotel stay? Like, yeah, man, I haven't ate. You know, sometimes I'm not gonna lie to you, like, man, shit, you can get me a beer. Like, nah, man, I'm gonna get you a meal, and I'm gonna get you some juice or some water. Okay, well, shit, man, I'll take it. I haven't eaten. So if you really want support of people, that's who you support. Because at the end of the day, you're black. And this is America.